Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Ripple secures first DFSA license for blockchain payments. Ripple just became the first blockchain-powered payment firm licensed by Dubai's Financial Services Authority. The milestone marks a major regulatory win in the UAE, expanding Ripple's ability to offer crypto-based payment services under formal oversight in Dubai's financial hub. And that's a coveted license as well. A lot of other companies would not be able to obtain that license. Again, more Ripple expansion. And we see it happening all around the world every single day. Rail after rail getting put in place. And people still think XRP is not going to be a high valued cryptocurrency. Because Tether can't pass the auditing necessary to become a U.S. stablecoin. Tether now plans to launch a U.S. stablecoin product by the end of 2025 or early 2026, the CEO says. You know, I would just like to see Tether explode already. Just depeg and collapse out. Rip the Band-Aid off. Get it done and over with, because it's eventually going to happen anyway. The US is going to have stablecoin regulations in the coming months. Tether can't pass those regulations. So now they want to launch a whole new product instead. And what are they going to do? Mint that out of thin air as well and prop up Bitcoin with it like they're doing already? I would just like to see it get done and over with, because we know this is coming, and I think it's going to be a black swan when it happens. Every single cryptocurrency is going to crash with the fall of Tether. A lot of these cryptocurrencies, though, will bounce back very quick. Ripple's Chris Larsen to meet SEC Chairman Paul Atkins today, May 2nd. Insiders claim the SEC is close to approving a spot XRP ETF. There's no insiders. I don't even know if this has been confirmed yet or not, because Eleanor Tourette has not put anything out where Chris Larsen is going to meet with Paul Atkins. And if they are going to meet, I'm sure it has nothing to do with the XRP ETF. It's more likely something to do with the Ripple versus SEC case finally coming to an end. Analyst expects XRP to hit $17 with mega monthly candle, then $55 after macro channel breakout. I see so many people now calling for a $50 plus XRP. I even went and checked the chart on XRP. It's still around $2.22, because usually this happens with an XRP breakout. All of a sudden, everybody's like, the next stop is $50 plus. But this can actually happen in this run. There's nothing really holding XRP back. So think about it. If 2017 was as big as it was, why can't 2025's run be just as big as the 2017 run? Nothing is stopping that from happening. And right away, people would say, well, the market cap in previous cycles, it's like, okay, if utility starts driving the price of XRP, market cap doesn't matter. I will stress that once again. Ripple's offer to Circle was fair. Circle's valuation drops from $9 billion to $5 billion ahead of an IPO. So apparently the offer that Ripple gave was very fair. They were giving them the full value of what Circle's valuation is. And Smoke put this out. Ripple acquiring Circle would be a stablecoin super play. Circle's upcoming IPO filing just exposed a major weakness. Coinbase still takes 50% of USDC's revenue even after Circle paid $210 million to cut them out of the consortium. That's a massive profit leak, and Ripple has the capital, structure, and incentive to fix it. Here's how it makes sense. In 2024, Circle made $1.68 billion in revenue, but only $156 million in net income, weighed down by operational cost and the Coinbase arrangement. Ripple, on the other hand, has multiple cash flow channels: XRP sales to institutions, cross-border payment fees, interest income, and investments. Ripple doesn't carry the baggage Circle does, yet Circle controls USDC, the second largest stablecoin in the world. If Ripple steps in, they can absorb Circle's revenue, restructure to Coinbase terms, and boost margins. Integrate USDC into RippleNet and Liquidity Hub, turning stablecoins into a native part of the Ripple ecosystem. Think of XRP moving USDC. Combine XRP's speed with USDC's regulatory acceptance, creating a two-token juggernaut for global finance. Ripple is battle-tested, having fought and survived SEC scrutiny. It's now in a prime position to lead in regulated digital asset markets. By acquiring Circle, Ripple instantly gains access to over $60 billion in circulating USDC, adding scale and reach to its already global infrastructure. In return, Circle gains Ripple's operational strength, legal firepower, and direct DeFi integration, eliminating its Coinbase dependency while leveling up its entire business model. Win-win for both parties. So that would make sense for Circle to accept the Ripple buyout. And think about USDC running across the XRP ledger and XRP moving it. I want to see what happens here, because then this news dropped. Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse has increased the offer to acquire Circle for $20 billion, and the deal seems to be progressing towards completion. Other people said that they accepted the original offer behind the scenes and they're working out the details. But why would Brad go all the way up to $20 billion? Most likely he could stop at $12 billion, $10 billion, and it would still be a deal for Circle to take. Nobody even knows if this is actually confirmed factual yet. I see so many people talking about it though, but I really want to see where this goes from here. If Ripple acquires Circle, that's going to be massive going forward. XRP versus stablecoins, the ultimate showdown. Stablecoins are replacing XRP. That's like saying Google Maps replaced Wi-Fi. You're confusing the app with the infrastructure. And you see, XRP, the bridge currency, facilitates cross-border transaction by bridging different currencies, even stablecoins. Stablecoins are more of a store of value, digital representations of fiat currencies, maintaining stable value. Think of it like the digital dollar. In other words, if RLUSD was to become the digital dollar, it's only going to ever be worth $1. People still don't understand that. People were buying RLUSD way above $1 when it first launched. And XRP, like I said, it could be, if RLUSD is the US digital dollar and the US sends money to the EU, it could go in as RLUSD into XRP, come out on the other end as RLEUR, or the digital euro. That's what makes XRP great. Anything to anything. City of London fund manager explains why XRP price isn't rising despite adoption from banks. So what they're saying is the price isn't moving because of the two ledger system. But he actually goes on to tell us when the private ledger price is going to be revealed on the public ledger. But I already talked about this multiple times, and I said there's nowhere where the price of XRP is at two different prices. The banks are still in the testing phase on the private ledger. And the price points that people might be seeing, even the glitches, might be them testing XRP at different price points. So maybe when the banks do come out of the test phase, that's the price we will see. Maybe it is $1,000. Nobody really knows. But here's where he says we will finally find out what the price is. So he says on July 14th, the XRP ledgers will merge, which in his view could drive a significant market shift for XRP. This bold claim has raised eyebrows among community members, particularly as it carries a specific date for implementation. Meanwhile, Digital G failed to provide a reliable source to back the claim. He said that it's going to happen with the ISO implementation, and it's going to start with Fedwire on July 14th of this year. I even said it in previous videos. I think Fedwire is going to give us our first look at where ISO compliant cryptocurrencies are going to go. Because if these cryptocurrencies are utilized with the ISO messaging, that's going to gain a lot of traction very quick. And that could show us how quick the price is going to change for not only XRP, but for XLM, XDC, and so on. And if there's two prices for XRP, wouldn't there be two prices for XLM and so on? Because there's a lot of private ledgers out there, that where this is happening. Because even you can go and create a private ledger on the XRP ledger. It's not limited, is what I'm telling you. I do believe that they're testing XRP at different prices to make sure that it passes the test. In other words, if XRP is at $10, can it handle this amount of transactions? If XRP is at $100, can it handle this amount of transactions happening on a daily basis? So maybe they are testing it at different price points, but it's only testing right now. And this might not even happen on July 14th, is what I'm telling you. Maybe it will happen later this year. I just want to see what happens with Fedwire first, is what I'm telling you. But, everybody wants to get XRP to different price points because they want that instant gratification for the price of XRP. Like, in other words, they need that overnight event to happen. But if you're patient enough, you're going to see those price points happen either way. And that's why I even told you, take profit. There's nothing wrong with that. If XRP goes to $10 plus, take some profit if you have to take profit. This way, you could continue holding the rest of that XRP until we reach much higher price points. It'll allow you to stay patient even longer, is what I'm saying. And then you start looking at passive income. Never selling the rest of your XRP. Buying even more XRP with the passive income that you're getting month over month. That's why it's so important to have a game plan. And like I always tell you, until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.